Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Willie. I'm at Spec 1 Motorcycle Repair. This is where I have my bikes get serviced, and this is my S40, Suzuki S40 right here. I am actually trying to sell this bike, and the reason why I brought it into Spec 1 is I had a buyer, and he said the bike was stalling on him. I haven't had any stalling issues with it, and even my friend who previously owned the bike said he never had any stalling issues. The only thing I could think of was I don't ride it a whole lot, and the issue was it was out of gas when I was riding it over to him, so I had to switch it over to the reserve tank and then get it filled up. But I still didn't have any stalling issues, and then he took the bike and rode it home, and then he told me that he was having stalling issues. So he brought it here to Spec 1. We had it checked out, and Spec 1 said they couldn't find any issues with it. They were riding it all around town, riding it on the freeway, and it was running fine, no stalling. So the only thing I think we can think of would be it was bone dry in the gas tank and just sitting around and real hot with the weather, and not riding it enough could have caused some stalling issues. But as you can see here, it's running fine, and the only issue with this bike really is that when it's cold weather, or if you haven't ridden it in a long time, then you got to warm it up a little bit more than usual. I think if you're riding it on a regular basis, you don't need to warm it up so much, except maybe on a cold morning. It's an older thumper. It's got a carburetor, and it's a 2006 S40. But as you can see here, it's running fine. The only other thing that maybe someone could inadvertently do is with the left heel of your boot, you could slightly push down on the kickstand, and that will cut the engine. But the guy who was interested in the bike said that definitely wasn't the issue on his part. So he was just having some random issues with the engine stalling out on him, even doing 30 miles an hour or at a stop. But as you can see here, I'm not having any issues with the bike, and the mechanic didn't have issues. So the mechanic was thinking that maybe just with the little gas, basically the tank being on empty aside from the reserve portion of the tank, that and it not being ridden, it was kind of getting gunked up or something. So just riding the bike may have cleared things out a bit, and that could be the issue. So I'm at a stop, and it's not stalling, and I'm taking off just fine. Now I think the gas tank was almost about empty again at this point, and later on it does actually stall out due to being out of gas in the main part of the tank. So I do have to switch over to the reserve, and that was fine. I took it to a gas station after this, and it was bone dry in the tank. So that's one thing you have to really monitor with this bike. There is no gas gauge, so it holds about 2.7 gallons, I think, and you just have to be real mindful of how much you've been riding and maybe track the mileage. I don't do that because I'm just riding my Ninja all the time, and I'm just taking this bike out just to be sure that it gets ridden. So obviously maybe I need to ride it a bit more, so I don't have a problem with another buyer, and I'll keep riding it a bit and see if any issues come up. But as you can see, it's running just fine. So just want to give you a little update on what's going on. It's been my 1-year anniversary this month as a rider, so maybe I'll do a video on what I've learned. And you can see the tank was bone dry, and we had to fill it back up, and we're on our way. We will catch you next time.